wanted to post this video in January, but in the middle of doing my research, my laptop screen died. Now, one could argue that my laptop just offed itself because I'm very demanding, or I think it could be the government trying to silence me. And I tell you now, I will not be silenced, okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about some aliens and make some pizza. Today we're going to be heading to Roswell, New Mexico, 1947, a quiet desert town, you know, ranchers, dust, cows silently judging you, and allegedly aliens. Yeah, we're doing it, a video on aliens. I know, we're finally here. Yeah, got it. Or a balloon, which is somehow actually less believable depending on who you ask. I'll also be making some mini pizzas because to me they're like little spaceships, you know, like little pizza pods, little mozzarella motherships, if you will, okay? As usual, if you want to try this recipe for yourself, I will link the ingredients below, but it's not going to be a elaborate recipe. It's literally just gonna be some like pizza dough and some toppings, and I just wanted to make mini pizzas and I don't want to do anything fancy. And apparently when you make pizza dough, it has to sit for like an hour and then cook for like another 30 minutes, and I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to. I'm lazy, right? Let's get into it. I'm gonna use already rolled pizza dough because, like I said, lazy recipe, don't want to do too much on a Sunday. Do you get me? It's the day of the Lord. No working. I don't need any flour for this. It doesn't say to put any flour down or anything, but this is the pizza dough I'm using. It's Pizza Express. It's New Mexico, 1947. The sun is blazing down. The sheep are minding their business, and the ranch foreman, William Mac Brazel, I think it's Brazel, sorry if I said that wrong, is doing what he does every single day. Riding across endless dusty land, checking the fences and livestock, probably thinking it's just another boring day at work doing regular farm maintenance as he does every single day. And then the desert sparkles. Not in like a magical Disney way, more in like a sort of has something exploded kind of way. Mac notices strange debris scattered all across the ranch, not in like one neat pile, but spread over hundreds of yards. This wasn't like your usual broken fence wire or wind-blown rubbish, like the usual farm stuff he would normally find. We're talking foil-like material, rubbery strips, tough paper, thin wooden sticks, and some stuff that apparently was weirdly light in weight and hard to destroy. Some material reportedly bent and snapped back into shape instead of staying crumpled, which is not something your average farm rubbish likes to do. Considering this material was supposed to be very light and like bendy, I guess, the fact that it wouldn't stay crumpled is apparently something that was quite odd at the time. Mac doesn't immediately scream aliens because, and this may shock you, most sane adults don't jump straight to extraterrestrial conclusions while feeding sheep. I mean, I probably would, but I'm also missing a few screws up there, if you catch my drift. I just want to roll out my pizza dough. It says on the box that I don't need to put flour down or anything, so I'm not going to do that. I don't think I need to do that. Oh my lord. Oh my god, that is so sticky. Jeez Louise. I don't know how this is gonna go. Oh, it's like sticking to the, oh my god. It's like sticking to the thing. God, I don't need flour on my ass. It sticks to his own freaking packaging. I don't even know if I got flour, you know? I said this is gonna be a lazy recipe, but I don't think it will be. I need flour. Have I got any? No. Oh my god, I don't have flour. What do I do? Put it on greaseproof baking paper. I'm just gonna put it on greaseproof baking paper and then I think that will work, maybe. Oh my God. Put it on the paper when you go in the oven anyway, so like that won't stick, I don't think. My God, who knew pizza dough was so frickin' sticky? Jesus Christ. Do you reckon I'm gonna be able to cut them out successfully? Okay, I'm just gonna use a cup. Little mini one, mini pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah?
Ever do that.
Mac is mostly just confused. There's no phone on the ranch. It's the 1940s, you know, it's the whole thing. He's got work to do, so he finishes his rounds mentally sort of filing this under, that was a bit weird, I'll deal with that later. When he tells his wife about it, he goes back with his family to have another look again. But when they go back, that's not gonna work. All of the stuff still makes 0 sense.
Use the pint glass.
Jack
It's a thinner rim, yeah, it cut through easier.
Jesus, this is, maybe I just gotta use a knife. They're not gonna be the perfect circles, but I think I'm just gonna have to use a knife.
Use a pizza cutter.
Oh.
Pizzas after all.
Wait there a minute. I got this from Christmas.
Kaboo.
I got this from Christmas, and yeah, it's got a little bit, that could be like the spaceship.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, go on.
Yeah, it will be tiny pizzas, my God. Way better, okay. Woo! Whole video is nearly ruined just for my incompetence. Right. Yeah, all of the stuff makes 0 sense. It's not aircraft wreckage, it's not like normal weather balloon material, and it's not anything he recognizes from his years of ranch life.
It's funny.
It's not anything he recognizes from his years of ranch life. Here you go. Naturally, he grabs some pieces of the material and drives into town to show the sheriff, which, as we know, is how every single great alien disaster movie starts. Sheriff contacts the nearby Roswell Army airfield, and here's where things sort of go sideways. The military releases a public statement saying that they have recovered a flying disc. Yes, they actually said that out loud to the press in 1947, which, in my opinion, is an absolutely wild thing to say if you want people to stay calm. Everyone collectively goes, I'm sorry, what, you found a what? Cue headlines, cue panic, cue conspiracy theories being born in real time. Newspapers ran with it, the public naturally lost their minds, and I think probably sci-fi fans everywhere felt some sort of like spiritual validation. Then almost immediately, the story changes. The military backtracks and says, did we say flying disc? We meant weather balloon. Yeah, you can see how the two, what? Because nothing says don't panic quite like changing your story within 24 hours. Obviously, everyone looked at them quite like,
I don't know, I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
and just like that, one confused rancher, some sparkly rubbish, and one very unfortunate press release became one of the most famous UFO stories in history. All right, I need to cut these things out. Right, there is something that I really want to try with the leftover dough, and it will be a complete experiment. Skull molds from Halloween. And I've seen people like put pizza dough in like skull molds, and then they make little like pizza skulls, and I feel like I should do that with the leftover dough. 1947 was probably considered a bit of a mess for America. The CIA had just been born. The Cold War was sort of just beginning, simmering like a pot you probably shouldn't touch. And due to some of this, the public's trust in the government was strained, shall we say. Meanwhile, weather balloons, yes, literal balloons that float around in the sky, had been floating around for years. They weren't anything new, so it's a little bit strange that authorities identified it as some sort of unknown flying disc first, rather than noticing straight away that it was just a weather balloon. Either someone didn't have their glasses on properly, or they backtracked for a deeper reason. And the witnesses, they went quiet for decades. What did they say? Where did they go?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
So people began to ask, why the dramatic press release? Why the immediate backtrack? Surely you would have had all of your facts in order before going to the press in the first place. Why were the witnesses suddenly quiet? And what was the unknown material found on the ranch? If you're used to it being, if you think it's a weather balloon, surely the material wouldn't have been unknown and odd. You would know what a weather balloon material looks like. I've decided these aren't going to be little skull pizzas anymore, they're going to be dough balls. Although people were quite suspicious at the time in the 1940s, this whole like alien stuff didn't actually dominate the headlines properly in 1947. It sort of like got forgotten about by most people, and then it kind of grew a little bit later on. The alien narrative actually really took off in the 1970s and 1990s. You see, through like the 50s and 60s, Roswell sat quietly in the archives, filed, stamped, forgotten, until the 1970s through to like the 90s, when researchers who hadn't forgotten started knocking on old doors and sort of switching on the dusty tape recorders, and the story came back talking. UFO investigators began formally collecting sworn statements, recorded interviews, and several former Roswell Army airfield personnel gave later life testimony that directly challenged the official balloon explanation. I'm gonna probably say some of these names wrong. If I do, apologies, I'll try my best. Most notably, Major Jesse Marcel, the base intelligence officer who first handled the debris and the rubbish that was found. He said in 1978 interviews that what he recovered was not anything from this earth, describing like ultralight foil-like material that wouldn't stay bent, beam fragments marked with symbol-like sort of hieroglyphic patterns that they didn't recognize, and claiming that he was later made to actually pose for press photos, and they gave him like fake wreckage to show off. Also, just to add, apparently he was trained to actually identify balloon wreckage. So surely if anybody was going to recognize balloon wreckage, it would be him. He would know better than anyone. Why would they say to the press it was a flying disc and then be like, oh, actually it was a balloon, sorry, got that wrong. Just want to do some of my toppings. Got cheese, tomato paste, sweet chili, pepper, sun-dried tomatoes, salami, and chicken. Obviously you start with your bases. I don't really have a plan for any of this. I'm just sort of like going for it. I don't really know how much you should put on, so I'm just gonna put on whatever. And sort of like spread it around. And I'm just gonna do some sweet chili ones. I did want to do barbecue chicken, but in typical me fashion, I didn't have any barbecue sauce. So sweet chili chicken is. First Lieutenant Walter Holt, I think that's how you say it. The public affairs officer who issued the original 1947 flying disc press release, he apparently signed a 2002 statement under oath, which was then released after his death, stating that he saw an unusual craft in a hangar and small recovered bodies that he believed were its occupants. There is a lot of speculation about small bodies being recovered from the crash. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but apparently it was also reported that a local mortician said the military base asked about small caskets and body preservation methods around the same time. If that's true, is that not a bit of a strange coincidence if it's not related to the crash? Like, they find this odd thing on site, there's a lot of speculation about it, they backtrack on their story. Bit strange. Then we have Brigadier General Thomas DeBooth said in a 1991 interview that the weather balloon story given to the reporters at the time was a deliberate diversion, while Master Sergeant Lewis S. Bill Rickett of counterintelligence called the balloon explanation totally untrue and described the object as a non-terrestrial in origin. And then we have Brigadier General Arthur Exon. He was cited by researchers as being aware that unusual debris and the possibility of bodies were recovered, though I have to say that apparently he did actually later say that he didn't like how his comments were portrayed. He disputed what they said he said, basically. Now, did he backtrack? Did he actually say those things? Did the reporters twist it? Did he get scared into backtracking, maybe? Who knows? We'll never know, really, I guess. It was apparently reported that the area was heavily cordoned off and that those involved were threatened with death or severe consequences, which, if the guy did backtrack on his comments, not saying he did, could that be why? Right, just gonna do my cheese. I'm gonna leave 2 pizzas without cheese on because I am making some of these for other people and one of them doesn't like cheese. I know, it's mental to not have cheese on pizza. It's just a crime, in my opinion. You know who you are. Oh fuck, I was supposed to leave that one free of cheese. Fine. Oh, I was meant to leave that one free of cheese as well. I fucked up. God damn it. All right, this one's got less cheese on, so I'll take it off of that one. All right, salami. Then came the 1980 book, The Roswell Incident by Charles Berlitz and William L. Moore, which stitched these testimonies into a single crashed sort of saucer narrative. And once the television specials, documentaries, and 90s alien media took hold, because in the 90s aliens were like all the rage, there were like lots of alien movies in the 90s and 80s. Roswell stopped being a report or a rumor and became sort of like a legend, built not on lab samples or like preserved hardware anywhere, but on multiple voices, memories, and kind of like the uncomfortable possibility that the first official story might not have been the real one. I'm just gonna do my little salami bit. I wish I had a little cutter to make them like nice little circles, but I don't. Alright, gonna do some with literally just like cheese and tomato. They're sun-dried tomatoes because I think they just taste the best. Just gonna cut them up into like little bits of tomato.
I feel like you're rage baiting everyone.
Why?
Because you hold the knife and fork in wrong hands.
Why? Who says? Who made these rules? I will quickly mention the famous alien autopsy footage. In 1995, a British entrepreneur named Ray Santilli, I think that's how you say his name, I'm terrible with names, released what he claimed was the recovered alien autopsy from Roswell in 1947. It was broadcast worldwide, including on Fox in the US and Channel 4 in the UK. It reached in dozens of countries and it caused a massive media stir. Santilli said it was restored original footage, but skeptics reviewed the footage and quickly poked holes in it. By the early 2000s, he actually admitted it was a hoax. The film was staged with actors, latex props, and careful lighting. He did claim it was a recreation because the original footage had degraded, but no authentic tape has ever been recovered or verified or reviewed in any sort of way. Despite it being debunked, the alien autopsy became the icon of the 90s UFO culture, inspiring documentaries, endless debate, and even the 2006 film Alien Autopsy. The footage still resurfaces every now and again. It goes around on YouTube and someone always finds it, reshares it, and claims it is real. But it's not, it's been debunked, although I really wish it was real, because that would be really fucking cool. Oh, I just want to cut up my pepper. I don't want to put too much on because I don't want them to go really soggy. Now here's where the story takes a hard left turn, right back into the paperwork and like the classified folders. In the 1990s, the US Air Force reopened the Roswell case and released the classified findings. Their conclusion? No alien craft, just a top secret Cold War surveillance program called Project Mogul. Project Mogul used chains of high altitude balloons designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests by listening for shockwaves in the upper atmosphere. I mean, duh, isn't that obvious? These weren't just neat little weather balloons, they were strange looking rigs built from reflective foil, rubber balloon clusters, wooden supports, metallic radar reflector targets, reinforced tape and sensor gear. When one came down in pieces across the ranch in 1947, it would have looked unusual. Not sleek, not aircraft-like, just unfamiliar and technical enough to spark confusion to the untrained eye. Or so they say. Mogul was classified deeply. Its purpose couldn't be revealed without exposing nuclear surveillance methods during the early Cold War. So when the base first told the press that they had recovered a flying disc, higher command stepped in fast. The story was corrected within a day to weather balloon. Simple, boring, closed, or so they had hoped. In follow-up reports released in 1994 and 1997, the Air Force was forced to address the later claims made about alien bodies being recovered, stating those stories likely grew from misremembered events including the 1950s crash casualties and later test dummy drops from the high-altitude experiments they were going through. They were just like, yeah, we're just flinging some test dummies around. What's the big frickin' deal? Leave us alone. Let us do our stuff. Let's do our shady stuff in peace. Supporters say that Mogul fits the documents. The materials, the timeline, and everything adds up. However, if anyone is used to the government lying or has their eyes open just a little bit, they say it feels like they have a convenient answer to a very loud mystery, because it still doesn't make sense that you would do a press release for a classified case. Like, if you say you know exactly what you're dealing with, you wouldn't draw attention to it at all because you would want to keep it on the down low. You certainly wouldn't want all of the press to be involved, and you certainly wouldn't go public with it. You would just ignore it and hope it goes away, because it probably would have in the 1940s when there was zero social media or anything like that. Either way, this is the explanation with the paperwork behind it, and I guess the question is whether the paperwork tells the whole story or if it's just a classic government move, if you know what I mean. Right, I just want to add on my chicken to the sweet chili pizzas, which is my final topping to go on. That is my mini pizzas done. They don't look a lot right now, but hopefully they'll look a lot nicer when they come out of the oven. So they just need to go in for about 18 to 20 minutes. Pizza's cooking in the oven, got aliens, balloons, the government backpedaling, maybe lying, who knows, just a totally normal Sunday. What's actually normal is how fast humans can turn confusion into conspiracy. I didn't summon you. Yeah, but I always do the gap filling bit. Rude. Accurate. Continue. Roswell isn't just a mystery case, it's a psychology case. Ah, yes, the real crash site. Ah, the human brain. Okay, let's open it up carefully. Can you hurry up? Excuse me? Didn't actually invite you this time, so if you could just, you know what I mean? Complete lack of respect. Thank you. There are so many psychological takes when it comes to believing in UFOs, but bottom line, Roswell is a story that most people want to be in. As we know from previous videos, humans are wired for wild stories. Whether you believe it or not, they're interesting, and conspiracies give us roles. A witness, a detective, a rebel, an insider, or even the non-believer. Stories like Roswell tend to sort of spread around and stick, because when you hear about aliens or secret crashes, it sparks creativity in the brain. You start filling in gaps. You automatically start filling in gaps, picturing hangars, tiny bodies, autopsies, secret files. You start questioning your surroundings, your beliefs. Whether you believe in aliens or not, some part of your brain is trying to decode the information being fed to you. Is it an alien? Or is it a weather balloon? That mental playground is just rewarding itself. Not only that, but questioning information being fed to you about aliens in this case also becomes a signal about who you are. Are you curious enough to question the official story? Skeptical enough to distrust authority? Open enough to consider other life exists? Bold enough to entertain ideas that most people would dismiss? That choice to believe or doubt, it isn't cognitive, it's part of your identity work. Conspiracies like this also thrive on cultural mythology. Roswell sort of goes into the modern American space age narrative. It's not just the story itself, it's also the culture around it. In the 90s, when Roswell was being brought back up, shows like The X-Files was popular and new and exciting, which thrived on government cover-ups and shadowy conspiracies, reinforcing that curiosity, excitement, and suspicion were not only normal, but they were kind of seen as cool at the time. Secret government labs, dodgy generals, alien visitors, major cover-ups. It reads almost like a legend, and legends are kind of sticky because people love to pass them on and retell them and embellish them and argue about them and discuss them, agree and disagree on them. They get our brain working. And then finally, obviously, it's psychology. There's an emotional angle. They lied because aliens exist is far more exciting and empowering and slightly rebellious than
they lied because of balloons.
It's not really the same, it's kind of boring. Humans aren't always that complicated. Sometimes we just want to feel alive and just feel a bit excited about something, even if that means getting the rush from a fake weather balloon cover-up. Maybe it wasn't just a story, maybe it wasn't just our minds, maybe it wasn't a conspiracy. I mean, the government have basically come out and said that aliens exist, so I think we're all just too traumatized to care. Back to me in the kitchen. Turned out so much better than I actually expected, especially the little skull doubles. I am absolutely so pleased with how they've come out. That is just incredible, like so much better than I absolutely expected. How they look and how they taste is a different thing, so let's give it a go. I'm gonna try one of the pepperoni ones. To be fair though, the little ball, Christmas ball, recommend, because you've got a little handle. What have you been doing our whole lives? Okay. That is so bloody good. I'm sorry. Even if I do say so myself, that is absolutely phenomenal. That is a pizza. Right, and now that was the pepperoni. I now want to try one of the sweet chili chicken. God, I hope they came out just as nice. I'm sorry, but that's phenomenal. I would make these 100 times over. Right, now I want to try one of my little skull doubles. I think I'm just gonna go with a little plain one. I made at the last minute some like butter, oil, garlic, herby dip to go with it. I don't know what that's going to be like. It was literally just off the cuff, spare of the moment thing. So hopefully it'll be really nice. Let's give it a go. Oh my god, it's all so good. That actually turned out phenomenal. I don't think you can really go wrong with pizza in general, but my god, that was so good. So, Roswell, was it real? Was it not? Was it a hoax? Was it not? Was it just a misunderstanding in the press? A failed military cover-up? Were there bodies in the spacecraft? Were there not? I guess you'll never really know unless you were actually there. But I want to believe that something went down that day, because to me it's just very strange that the military and the press and everyone, it just all sort of like backtracked. And I get it, you might have been covering up like a secret mission and stuff, but it just doesn't add up to me. I feel like you would have done a better job at doing that. I feel like you would have had more training to do that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. If you want to try the mini pizzas, although admittedly it's not really much of a recipe, you can kind of figure it out yourself. 100% recommend them. They are absolutely phenomenal. The little garlic dip thing that I just sort of made on a whim, I will link below as well. Yeah, let me know what you think below. Is it a crashed alien spacecraft or just a balloon wrapped in some sort of like Cold War anxiety? Do you even believe in aliens, or do you think that that's just a far-fetched fantasy? Let me know. Let me know what you think below. So yeah, hey bye. Yeah, like